So as I was explaining, well, today is November 28th, 2014, and this is with regard to my being raped from various positions and situations. And the one that I'm talking about right now is from a seated position and how it involved the Bechtold family, the George and Janet Bechtold family. Their kids are Nathan, Eliza, and Robin Bechtold. And they used their son, Robin, to rape me when I was in high school and have it not look like rape. And then right after that, when I was leaving his house one night, I got run off the road in a situation that almost killed me. It was intended to kill me. And I didn't die. So what was happening with that is his dad had actually showed up at one of the cop stations where they had a barber chair, and they practiced this against me. So there were a number of cops that were involved, and they were Oregon State Patrol. That's not like the only group that was involved, of course, but that's just an example. And what they were doing from like the Moses Lake, Washington side of things, from the seated position, is they started, and also when I was in Oregon, and this is something else that George practiced with me and that other men practiced. They started picking me up from my parents' house and telling me to go out with them. They were going to get me a hamburger or some sort of fast food, or go with them to get something to eat. And usually when they were picking me up, I was really hungry. I hadn't had anything to eat, and I was told, if you want anything, here's your chance to get a meal. And they sometimes call it Happy Meals. They would take me for a Happy Meal run. And so, often it was McDonald's. Other times it was another fast food place. And what they started doing is, in that situation, I'd be in the passenger side of the car, as a little kid, and then the man driving, who was usually a cop, military, or FBI, the man who was driving would drive to the fast food place. But either on the way there or on the way back, or before I could eat anything, they were forcing me to lean over my chair on the passenger side in the front to give them a blowjob. And their signals for that were very specific as well. They used specific hand signals in the car. They made me feel their hard penis first. And then they would say their code for all of this, on you better do this, and you know what we want you to do, and you better do it, or you're dead, or you're going to get beat up or electrocuted. Was, well, I guess, I'll just take you back home then. So if I withdrew my hand or I didn't do the blowjob for them, their code word was something that, like as I say again, almost anyone could use. Let's say you're in a dating situation, the woman doesn't want to do something, and he says, "Okay, I'll take you home." Well, that sounds totally natural. What they were doing with me as a kid is taking things that would come up later in the future to sound natural, and they were using other cues in combination with that to trigger me and as code for doing a blowjob for them, or else I would get brutally beat up, and then I'll just take you home meant they would take me home and I'd get electrocuted. So they would take me home. And they were chaining me to my bed. And then they were participating with a parent to put the electrocution head brace, the metal head brace, around my head, down my hands, and then they turn it up and they electrocute me. And that's in addition to sometimes getting beat up in the car. Like go down the side road and beat me for a little bit and then take me to my house. But they wanted to involve a parent, I'm sure, because then they felt they could get away with this entire thing. And I had really no one to go to. What am I supposed to do? Support myself when I'm age 7. You know, wasn't really possible. So all of that seated blowjobs from a seated position torture, they practiced their entire routine at cop stations and with FBI agents. And then they had people coming into more naturalized looking situations, like such as someone just like not in federal or state government buildings, but just picking me up from my house, which looked more like a natural type of a thing, having me in a car, and then forcing me repeatedly to do this same kind of blowjob thing at their cues. And well, I'll just take you home, after they had already made their cues, and when they said it a certain way. That was their combination for sometimes rape anyway. Sometimes I'll just take you home anyway. Sometimes meant they would rape me vaginally, like they'd beat me and put something in my vagina, burn me with a car electric cigarette holder thing that you have for lighting cigarettes. Or then other times, if they didn't attack me anyway on the spot, they always had guns. They had a gun next to them that was concealed until I would try to refuse, and then they'd show this gun to me or a knife and cut me or threaten to kill me. And then after they were doing that, then they started doing that first to punish me and to get a fear response from me so that I would automatically do this for them. And then and then they switched over to saying, I'll just take you home, and instead of them attacking me specifically, I'll just take you home meant I would get electrocuted at my house. But most of their focus for years for that position was to attack me on the spot while they had me in their car. So this was another very specific situation that the United States government developed for themselves, where they thought, okay, she's in a car, and how are we going to rape her and get away with it if she's in a car? So they created several different normal or natural looking scenarios, and then were torturing me to follow through with what they wanted me to do. And Robin Bechtol's dad was one of the guys that picked me up, took me out for fast food a few times, wanted me to do this kind of thing to him. And there were other government individuals. There were lawyers showing up. Krista Schneider's dad one time, Rob Schneider, showed up to take me out for fast food. He always says, let's go for a Happy Meal. And, you know, at some point, of course, I tried to not, I didn't want to go with these guys in their car, but I wasn't allowed to refuse. And they were also starving me. They was getting to a point where they wouldn't let me eat anything for a week, and then they'd have this guy show up saying, if you want to eat, here's your chance. And I tried to say no anyway, but I didn't really have too much of a choice. And before that, before I was old enough to make any indication of what I wanted or didn't want, when I was much younger, like a little girl, they were using the same kind of thing on me. They changed it and made it into more of a torture thing and enforced what they had been doing for a long time when I was out of a car seat, pretty much. And not as much traveling in a car in the front seat, although I sometimes was strapped in the front seat in my car seat. I wasn't always in the back. I used to, as a kid, when I still had to be in a car seat, used to get scared of being in the front seat with the car seat. So then I'm going to stop this here and then continue to explain what then happened with the United States working on targeting me later.